So it's still the thing that Cobot is nice, but Cobot is kind of a little bit boring. I mean, the sense comes to every day to my office, thank you, I brought your visitor, and so forth. Looks, the soccer guys surprise me most of the time. So I guess that's what it is.
Very interesting. Well, we'll wrap up with one question from Facebook real quick too, which it was, what if robots talk together in a language we cannot understand? Is there any practice for that?
Hopefully we will have the robots talk natural language, but nothing forbids them from talking chipa chaka or whatever. I mean, if we want to invent some other language, it's our call. But you have to understand they are not going to by themselves talk some language. We may want to have them say something, and Esperanto or some kind of language that is not just English or not just French. But you know, there is no problem of translating to a natural language of different sort but what we have to understand is that in fact, and if you forget everything I said, but remember that slide in which I had that cryptic kind of internals of the robot, that's what they are. They are cryptic. And therefore, it's very kind of research-based to make like that all these multiplications, all these probabilities, all these sampling, all whatever, become language. Because my neurons are here firing, and I am able to speak up something that people understand. Those robots, we program them, it's not all English. And you know what? We were very lucky that the names of the variables in which they log are written in some kind of English thing. Max velocity, blah. One day, if this is all as alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2, we don't even know what that is. So you have to understand that it's interesting, the concept that now these AI creatures have a language of their own, have internals of their own, and let alone the deep neural net. They have the whole representation of their own, but they need to be able to be talkable. You have to talk with them. So guess what? They better translate that into language. And so that's a very fascinating verbalization work that I'm doing. But it's like work that will last an eternity. I mean, it will last forever. We have to understand these much more. But when you work with people that do AI, do not let the AI system, first of all, not log what's happening, and then put this challenge of having that log be translated into verbalization, into verbal, into language. Otherwise, it's going to be cryptic. And just one final thought. Maybe you want to say, Manuela, so when the Cobot says I went straight for 57 meters and this, how do you know it's right? It could be like generating random language. Who knows? Right? Who knows? The beautiful thing is that in the thesis of my student Vittorio Pereira, we added one more thing, which are checkable answers. So you can actually check if the robot is saying the right thing by, for example, decomposing your query. You can say, how long did it take you from going from the lab to the elevator? And then from the elevator to Manuela's office. These two things better add up to going from the lab to Manuela's office. So if you create now a function, the robot is not going to be able to randomly create functions that match. So you now have another thing to worry about, which is how do you trust these answers and create trustable questions, the questions that enable you to trust the robot answer, so you know that it's not just coming up with an answer. So lots of research, lots of questions into this translation of the robot internals to actual natural language.
Very cool. I think that's all the time we have. I want to give a big thank you to Manuela for being here. And we'll give a quick promo to sign up for our Future of Work newsletter, Clocking In. I think we're going to drop in a link in the Facebook for that too. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.